What's
Okay.
up, y'all? It's Keisha, also known as Frack, and welcome to On the Cloud podcast. So, we made it to episode 16, and the topic of this one is Are you in my business? Talking about relationships and just everything all about relationships. So, I have Nyia joining me today. We are both in the same cohort, went to Grand Valley together. So, I have her introduce herself right quick and just share a little information about her. So,
So as already Keisha has stated, I am in the same cohort with her. We are getting our masters this April. Woo-hoo. I also got my undergrad degree from Grand Valley in multimedia journalism, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
all right. So let's go right on in to the first question. What turns you on about a guy or your relationship? What turns you on about your significant other?
So what turns me on about my significant other? I'm big on simple things, so I like just small gestures like flowers, opening my door all the time, or just checking on me throughout the day, calling me, saying, "How are you doing? Is everything all good?" I'm not big on like big stuff, but the big stuff is appreciated too. But the small gestures matter to me the most.
Okay, all right. So, like on the flip side, what's some things that get on your nerves, or what's some turn?
Girl, let me tell you, what gets on my nerves is when you're in a relationship, I think the person think you always got to share everything that you have with them. So, like for instance, like this today, he was eating, or I didn't want the last piece of his sandwich, but it was okay. But I'm just like any other time, like I'm eating something, he think he's obligated to have what I'm having, and that is not the case. That is so irritating me. I always have to share with you, so that's something that irritates me and gets on my nerves often.
All right, so share. All right, and he know, like he know that you
You
do.
know that.
Okay,
But
that's
he keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like even with your friends, like that one friend would be like, let me taste your chips. Like you had these chips before, girl. You don't need no more of this. But what do you want to say about chips for? Yeah, that's irritating.
all right. I feel okay. So, with you and your boyfriend, so do y'all remember? Do you remember that first date that you went on?
I do remember the first date. We actually went to go get sushi. That's his favorite. And I was so nervous to eat in front of him. I do not, but when I used to go on my first date with anybody, first of all, I would never eat. So when we went on our first date, it was actually in Grand Rapids, and we went to go get sushi. Girl, I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm not about to eat this. Sushi's so extra and so complicated. You got to dip, you got to put it in your mouth, you got to make sure everything is all in your mouth. But it was a good date, and I kind of knew from then, like, I'm very big on respect. He was very respectful. I've been on a couple of different dates before and I felt uncomfortable. I never felt uncomfortable. He kind of, in a way, made me feel like my dad always made me feel like it mattered about me at the moment. And that was big for me. So
Okay.
it was a good first date. I was late. I'm always late. So he ain't saying about me being late. He just took me for who I was and we just been rocking since.
All right. So, we talking about dating and what kind of turns you on, what turns you off. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
say, for example, now I'm not speaking this or wanting to say this on nothing, but just in general, if
Mm-hmm.
someone were to like cheat on you ever, do you believe in second chances?
So I've been cheated on prior to this relationship. I This is what I'll say. It just really depends on the situation and the person that you're with. People like I think our generation specifically, we get on social media and they be like, "Oh, if somebody cheat on me, I would never take them back," or this, and that. Depending on how big the situation was with the circumstance, I'm not gonna say I would not give a person a second chance. I've been cheated on before, and I was the person like, "Oh, I would never be back with him," and then I was the girl. Oh, okay, let's try it again. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like you have to be mindful of your situation and be considerate to who you're with and not really think about what everybody else got to say because they don't know your story and they don't know your situation. Being cheated on is not a good thing. It's not the best thing and it's not a fair thing. But it is life. So you just got to know who you are and what's good. Oh
We fine, we fine, we
my.
fine.
Okay, what's good and what's not good for you. So yeah.
All right. So we talking about that too. So far as cheating and transitioning, have you ever? Well, first, do you believe in marriage?
Girl, I believe in marriage. Okay, my parents been married for 22 years. No, it'll be 23 or 24 years, going on 24 years. I believe in marriage. I was raised in a household where both of my parents were married, and they've been married ever since I was little. That's the only thing I ever seen. So I do want to be married. The clock is ticking. We're going to push for me to be a fiance real soon, okay? But I do believe in marriage. I think it's a beautiful thing, but I don't think it's for everybody. You don't, just because you don't have to be married to be in love. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like people get in love and they be like, oh, I gotta be married. No, that's just like what's for you is for you, and then gotta figure out what works for you. But I want to be married. I want to be a fiance, child.
Okay, me too. Hopefully my time come eventually. I ain't even
Hopefully it's coming. Okay.
so like talking about marriage too. What are your thoughts on divorce, like in general? So like we see like a lot of divorce rates going up now, and within our generation, this is like a hard topic and just things we need to tackle. So what is your thoughts on divorce?
No, I think I've seen one couple get divorced. Actually, I've seen two couples get divorced. My very, very close friends, both of their parents have been married just as long as ours. And when I seen my friends go through it, and then their parents go through that divorce as well, I was like, oh my God, this is a terrible thing. Like, they could work it out. I don't think divorce is a bad thing. Sometimes it's a way of you saying, when we were with each other, maybe we were the best, but maybe our time has ran its course. So I just think that when divorce comes, when you consider divorce, it's not a bad thing. Just make sure that's exactly what you want to do. I'm still young. I don't know, like, who am I to say, oh, that's the worst thing ever in the world? I can say, like, looking at the people that got divorced, they are still speaking to each other. Like, when I go to my friend's house, I still see their parents interacting with each other, and they're still happy. So it's not a bad thing, but just make sure it's the best thing for you. Sometimes I see on TV, people just get divorced because they be like, I just can't take this no more. Could you find other ways before you just say, I'm just done with everything? I don't think it's a bad thing. Just make sure it's what you want to do.
Okay, I like that answer. Give that good old advice. So, like, in general, do you have like any last thoughts about like relationships or anything about relationships that you want to share?
Hmm. I think when it comes to relationships, just in general, like overall, especially for us as women, we have to be mindful and make sure that we're taking the right steps early on, because there will be a lot of signs and situations where we're not supposed to be in them, but we ignore it, and then we'll get into a situation, and then it'll be the worst situation for us. Take your time, love on yourself, and then be able to be with another person. Because if you're truly not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy with nobody else. So make sure that you're loving yourself. You are lifting yourself up the 100% in all ways that you can. So when the relationship does come, or when you get to that place where you're ready to be in a relationship, it'll be what you expect. Because a lot of times we get in relationships as women and we be like, why is everything just going so bad? And it's just like, because we're not ready. You know what I'm saying? So a relationship is not everything, but it can be everything if you're like in the right mental space and overall. So that's just my last take on relationships. And I wish everybody who's watching the best. Yeah.
All right. And lastly, any questions for me or any put it on the
I
floor?
want to be in your business.
Oh,
No, I'm just no. No, I just want to say you guys are doing a really, really good job with the show. This is a great like platform for everybody, especially in our generation, to watch and learn different things and also contribute. That's a big part for me with y'all show. It's like y'all let others contribute to it. So keep going for sure.
all right. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the feedback. And thanks again for coming on today, being interviewed. I want to thank you for that as well. But y'all stay tuned.
All right now.
Thanks for watching.